murder and a beat.
Red flag, wave it. Red tag, save it. Red, green, what that means, Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got claimed LB, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the porcelain, all pristine and so awful. Know thyself, the father from my aunt capstone. Ripped the ground, we put it back to top. See some real engineering, really no Indians near here. Blackstone from the next planet. Still you have no law, just a stick faggot. Batman still up in the cave, he got some sick gadgets. Nigga rich run a whole city with no power till the apocalypse now. In the door cower. Red flag make a 7 as it rains. A flag above many that has waved. Self I'm here to save. I'm an all-man, got a lot of lip. Chopped up to say back up. You see the red flag waving, red tag saving. Red, green, that I mean Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the boss of all pristine and so off. Red flag waving, red tag saving. Red, green, what that mean Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the boss of some obscene, some cordial.
Our value representation, this flag represents a nation. Collecting information, tracing our roots, not chasing. Pacing my progress, doing more, saying less. Black, white, gray, MSF, RBG in our breath. The depth of what we do is best presented by how we grew. What's true is ear of the beholder to prove answers question over. Some call it closure, prefer to say we open since we still scoping for knowledge and others now awoken. Open little to not, prefer work, plan, plot. Strategize to maximize the probability we sock caught between honor and a small place. The decisions that we make, ripple effects, monitor, break, still I appreciate.
Red flag waving, red tag saving. Red, green, that I mean Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got the claim Elvin, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the boss of all pristine and so off. Red flag waving, red tag saving. Red, green, what that mean Morris Lands, Bourbon. Who got claim Elvin, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the boss of some obscene, some cordial.
50,000-year-old ancestral claiming, flag in the ground, hear the flapping fabric sound. Red for the bloodshed or celestial realms. When all you see is fezzes and turbans, be overwhelmed. Standing on the squares, independent and fearless. From lower self to higher self, with no interference. 5-point star is her. We call her Venus. My niggas are Nagas. Incorporate persona genius. In 3, 5, or 7 plus. Whenever you see us, Moorish national disciples, Prophet Ali and Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, Confucius. The same frequencies preceding all man-made religions. It's plain decency. Secret teaching of the ages. The heart is where the life is. Osiris is Orion, Horus, Mars, Sirius, Isis. Clear conceptions of your work during a crisis. Rep my flag till I'm dust or the husk is lifeless. Rep my flag, red, green, 5-point star, no gold fringes. Stand on my square, no liberty infringes. No rights violated, no Negroes emancipated. All they know is castrated and decapitated. Red flag.
Red, green, what that mean? Morris Lands, Bourbon. We got claim Elvin, not the name MJ. Lush and green was the boss of some obscene, some cordial, tops turban.
This that new bitch.
Tell them to shit the numbers though. I don't like counting, man. Like the counting stuff, ancestors, man. Pro bono, publico, pro facto, pro indefenso. We that two things tramp on top of B man. Sounds like an E flat ring. Quattro doors, ablaze with my circle. Involve my C ergo. Wings back, but not that high. I'm a bee, but I'm not that fly. Bugging you, I'm not that kind. Look like a mean mug, what did I do? Try to relax. Let your feet hover, fall off your path at the least sucker. I didn't mean that. You said you needed intensive care. I got the weed pack, caught 10 bags of your head. You said you need that. With the tail, I dropped the whole steed. Giddy up, wasn't funny. What you call money? Bring the green back, but breathe is always left intact. Popeye, pro bono, at Milo, pro in defense. so profile so
Progress need no promo. Brainwashed by TV programs. No, proclaim lower self. Project higher than rockets. Profound like fork tongues and sockets. Protection lacking. Project in a direction away from blacking or be lacking. In a zombie procession. Most profession keep you from progressing. Denying due processing. Prosecutor wants no impropria persona. In full life for obia. Prodigal son, nautical, astronomical one. All pro, never implausible, cause probable. Proactive, not passive, mind's captive. Problem children, angry and hyperactive. Needs more probiotic. Pro-black is pro-death. I'm pro-seeds and process. Pro-democracy, Mars keep me perplexed. Not hearing innocence, Kirkman Bay's Mars profess. Seating no Mars in the back with no protest. Spiritual work is in progress.
Speaking pro is best, a point I emphasize, no stress. Meaning attend to what is or is to be, but it's not less. Communication's a test, and verbally I express my progress and high probability for profit we opt to get. Opportunities that set our plots in check. To apply the domino effect, a story connects. More important than the past project, hence we document to step correct when we reflect. Plus self-respect to the tepid, really focus on growth. Just what it is and reduce the theme of this verse, so take note. I proactively promote the quotes that I wrote when enlightened. Stimulating my state to be one more great from inciting. Affirmations that heighten implementation and writing. Healthy reminders inciting the calm minded, the fighting. Or more like a dance, the mental train. Or what I'm saying, like Coach Nim said, it's all for the weak that complain.
Pro bono, publico, pro facto, pro indefenso.
Pro bono, progress need no promo. Brainwashed by TV programs, no.
Speaking pro is best, my progress project. I proactively promote the quotes that I wrote.
It's a lot, boys. Peace and love to all Moors. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, as he did warn us. He did warn us. He did warn us. But unfortunately, our people, they don't want to learn. They just want to get their ass beat. Noble Drew Ali. So there isn't just one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost. And that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lay down together in yonder hills, and neither will be harmed, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come, because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. And this great sin of my people must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. And I, the Prophet, do herein believe that this administration of the government, being more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in their free national constitution and laws, and through the help of such classes of citizens, I, the Prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So we're going to go again to the delectable Negro. Vincent Woodard. Human consumption and homoeroticism within U.S. slave culture. For all the people who want to be black, Negro, colored, African, Indian, and all these other misnomers, instead of being who their foremothers and forefathers were, which were Moors. Page 113. Plantation culture and masters cultivated this emotional and natal hunger. Such hunger, arguably more than physical acts of torture, conditioned slave psyches and bodies for larger acts of social and literal consumption. In the narrative, Douglas describes how he, his sister Eliza, and his aunt Priscilla were kept in a state of perpetual hunger and starvation. A great many times have we poor creatures been nearly perishing with hunger when food in abundance lay moldering in the safe and smokehouse, and our pious mistress was aware of the fact, and yet that mistress and her husband would kneel every morning and pray that God would bless them in basket and in store. In addition to starving Henny, Ald would frequently tie her up and whip her as pre-course to taking his meals. I have known him to tie her up early in the morning and whip her before breakfast, leave her, go to the store, return at dinner, and whip her again, cutting her in the places already made raw with his cruel lash, recalls Douglas. What makes Henny so delectable to the master is the fact of her being almost helpless. Henny has no parents to protect and look out for her. Burned during a childhood accident, she has little use of her hands. Her state of deprivation slakes Ald's appetite and causes him to choose her above all others as the object of his morning and evening meal-taking rituals. This is one individual. This is one of them. This is how they got down. Who they get down like this with? The Negroes, the blacks, the colors, the ones who wanted to play, they want to be on Master's plantation. The ones who, like we said in Django, that saw the other guy who looked just like them riding on a horse. And they're in amazement. All the slave movies, every single slave movie, go check. And they always in there have somebody who's free that's not part of the slavery stuff but looks just like the slave people. And nobody's not paying attention to them saying, hey, hold on a second, how come this guy who looks just like the one picking cotton and complaining about the master did this and that to them? How come they're not going through that treatment? Why is it that the ones who are free are never talked about, but the ones that's enslaved and went through all types of stuff are always talked about? Why? Because that's their ritual. Their ritual is make you think you're something that you're not, so you could be in the bottom. Once you say you're something you're not, you're in the bottom. That's how it goes. Which again goes back to Drew Ali again. Right? The great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that are being performed in North America by my people. What works are they performing that the great God of the universe is mad about? The works of them claiming to be something that they're not, and doing everything as something that they're not. Which, again, back again. What makes Henny so delectable to master is the fact of her being almost helpless. Henny has no parents to protect and look out for her. Henny's parents that weren't there to look out for her was her ancient foremothers and forefathers. Because Henny's a Moor. And Master knows Henny's a Moor. And Mistress knows. And then other Master down there know. And all of them know. All of them know that this is the land of the Moors over here. That's why they came here. Because they already found out from the Moors in the Spanish Inquisition dungeons who they were torturing to find out where's this place. Where's this spot at that you guys all are escaping to? How come there's no ships around here? You guys had ships all over the place. Where's everybody going? So once you dishonor your foremothers and forefathers, they're not looking out for you. You don't tell me you're black and you did some yoga and did some crystal work and did some tarot and you think foremothers looking out for you? No, they're not. Because you're serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man. You're not following Islamism. You're not following the ancient foremothers and forefathers that you self-law and master. And no European have any law for you because you're the law. No European from Europe is going to come here and then give you rights because you were a slave. So it doesn't work like that. That's called voluntary servitude. Because you don't have to be black. You're choosing to be black and African and Indian and from some tribe of whatever. Some tribe that these people did a treaty with to steal people's land that wasn't theirs. And then they're going to talk about rights. And then the play that we see that they're doing out here is now they're putting the black and the indigenous together. That's been the new wave since COVID. That the black and the indigenous are being put together now. And the people of color are also put together in that. Which is another mega misnomer. Putting all those things together and calling a people those things now. And then they're going to run with that as their identity. For how much ever years until something happens and then they got to make up a new name for these people. Because they don't want to listen to what Noble Drew Ali said and proclaim who they are. They want to be some fiction. They don't want to be the ancient foremothers and forefathers. They want to be a fiction. And then be mad when people treat them like a fiction. When you can't be mad. Because you're calling that on yourself. No, nobody told you this stuff about great God abandoning you and all that because of your sinning. Want to be all these fictions. Drawley's the only one that warned you. And remember, everybody else who says that they're whatever school of thought, they came from out of him and Garvey and Morris Zionist Jews and Ahmadiyya movement. That's where they came out of. Don't let them fool you that you think they don't know. Everyone knows. including our own, who when they're ready, they'll put Noble Drew Ali's picture up. When they're ready, they'll point out, hey, the Moors in the crowd there. There's a lot of Moors and all that. And you think they don't know? They're going to dress up like Moors and then do a song about Fard Muhammad, and then you get caught up that they did a song about Fard Muhammad. Nobody's not talking about he was dressing like a Moor. How come nobody's talking about that? How come they talk about Fard Muhammad all the time? That's going back to the same slave conditioning, making people think a certain way. They can't think for themselves, so somebody thinks for them. Always. Like we were talking about. People here talking about some election. Like it has something to do with them. Yeah, nothing to do with you. What do you mean you're not? I couldn't sleep last night because I didn't want Trump to win, and you're here. That has nothing to do with you here. You have your own colonization over here to worry about. You should be looking over there about something, worrying about what's going on over there. But if you really were in honor, you would know that there and here are the same place. But it ain't no Canada and the United States. Again, what nobody told you. Only Noble Drew Ali told you that this is Morocco. No one else told you. Everybody else playing games, using all types of different names. Once you classify as the fraud, don't get mad when these people eat you and steal your organs and do whatever other madness they're going to do. Don't get mad. Call it on yourself. Often, Miss Auld forced Douglas to sing for his food beneath her bedroom window. Quote, when pretty severely pinched by hunger, I had a habit of singing, which the good lady very soon came to understand as a petition for a piece of bread. When I sung under Miss Lucretia's window, I was very apt to get well paid for my music. Making Douglas perform in the age-old role of the romantic singer, Miss Auld seemed to imagine him courting her or titillating her with his hungering pleas. She no doubt took pleasure in such remonstrations, which she encouraged and rewarded with food. And then you could apply that to the music industry. You could apply that to the basketball or whatever. You could apply that to all the places where our people are at, where they pay them insane amounts of finance, but our problems are still BS. And we don't get that. It's a ritual. Paying the Negro to perform is a ritual for them. This is them exercising their slave rituals, which is to keep the people in perpetual slavery. Because once you got the mind, you got the body. You ain't got to worry about what the body's doing. Remember, this is their guy, Frederick Douglass. This is the black guy's guy, letting them know everything that's going on, so they can get themselves out of that stuff. You don't want to be in there. You have to be at the window singing for food, and then you're getting some bread. It's probably stale bread too. And you're eating that like, yes, this is a gourmet meal. No, it's not. That's stale bread. when you could be free? Having these slave masters telling you, good morning, sir. Because they know where the authority lies. Because all these cracker, whatever, shotgun with the overalls and the lumber jacket and all that stuff, them Europeans know the science. You're looking at the wrong ones. The ones you got to worry about, the ones who've been studying from your ancient foremothers and forefathers and telling you Negro stuff. And then Prophet came, brought you everything it takes to save a nation, and 2020, you still don't have this stuff figured out yet? And then when Moors exercise it, it's accepted and appreciated by everybody else in the world. They have no question, no debate. I'm a Moor. Oh, yeah, you mean the Moors? Yeah, from Morocco. Oh, you mean Morocco in America? They're not debating. They're going with everything that Moors are saying. No debate whatsoever. Our people, try to tell them that they're Moors. You tried to tell them. No, you got some that you tried to tell. And they ain't having it. There'll be all these fictions. And then get mad when the knife is going in them for somebody they got a slice of their thigh or whatever. They want to yell racism. When you put yourself on the table to get eaten. Why are you going on the table to get eaten? Are you food? You're just choosing to go lay on the table. And you know these people eat people. Yeah, the house over there. Oh, yeah, they eat people over there. Oh, yeah, knock, knock, knock. Welcome to the neighborhood. You just brought some cake or whatever like that. You know what I mean? Come on in. You guys eat people? Yeah. Oh. Yeah, sure. Why not? A cup of tea won't hurt. They say they got the burdock tea and all that. End up on the table, eating. And then you're mad. Don't get mad. Making Douglas perform in the age-old role of the romantic singer. Remember, the romantic singer. That was the guy who was dressed up in the pantaloons or whatever like that, singing to the lady in the window with the feather in the hat. You think they're not telling these people who they are? But trust me, the Moor wasn't singing in some window for some bread. So the Moor cancels out everybody's rituals. Nobody could run any rituals on Moors because the Moor cancels it out. Ritual's done once you recognize that we're Moors. Oh, ritual's done. They have to start over. She no doubt took pleasure in such remonstrations, which she encouraged and rewarded with food. Many on the plantation implicitly understood this culture of hunger and deprivation as it was acted out in daily relations. Aunt Katie, the cook on the Anthony plantation, would frequently punish Douglas for a slight or an offense by making him go all day without food. Douglas would often fight the dog for scraps of food and bake stolen pieces of dried corn in the fire. Such acts of starvation wounded Douglas's most deeply in his heart and soul. He writes of trying to keep his spirits up, but eventually going out behind the kitchen wall to cry. Surprising Aunt Katie one day, Douglas's mother visits and witnesses her starving him. His mother has words with Katie. That night, he says, I learned, as I had never learned before, that I was not only a child, but somebody's child. I was grander upon my mother's knee than a king upon his throne. For Douglas, the worst starvation involved being emotionally cut off from and made to hunger for his mother's love and care. His mother literally and spiritually saves him from self-consumption, starvation, by affirming and feeling his sense of self. For that was the danger and underlying intention of the culture of consumption, to imprint slaves so deeply with hunger that they came to relate to themselves as essentially commodities, and to also consume themselves in a litany of soul-devouring thought and behaviors reinforced by masters' hunger and taste. It's all rituals. It's not this guy's mad at him and has to put him on a tree. No, it's a ritual. Because they hung Jesus on the tree. And then they hang a nigger, they're killing Jesus over and over and over and over again. Because it's a ritual. They dress up in the Moorish hood and cloak and terrorize people who founded that hood and cloak. This is not racism. It's to make you fear your own stuff. It's a ritual to make you fear your own stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And the psychology works so great that these people wearing the Moorish hoods or whatever are going to burn a cross on these guys' lawn. I say they're Negro black colored and all that stuff, and then they're going to go talk about Bibles and Jesus and whatever. When these guys just burned the cross. Where they didn't take that message to, the cross have nothing to do with some guy they put up there. Jesus was hung on a tree. So anybody hanging is Jesus. Cross has nothing to do with anything. Now again, we're talking from the free people's position. We're talking from the people who went to the Freedman's Bureau when they said, hey, slavery's over. Slavery's over? Where's the Freedman's Bureau? AKA Moorish Science Temple of America. Moorish Divine National Movement. Anything Moorish that's about getting me out of this status of Negro, black, colored. As soon as slavery's over, bam, go there. Right? Now you're free. And your job now is to act like you're free. Despite the oppressive intentions of masters who facilitated this culture of hunger, enslaved persons often found the will to invert this structure, using their own hunger as a means of resistance and survival. The graphic example of Lavinia Bell conveys a sense of hunger as the will to survive. As punishment for running away from the plantation, Bell's master leaves her to hang in a tree by wire threads that cut into her flesh. She suffers starvation and the devouring presence of birds and other animals of prey. After days left in this condition, Bell makes a strategic choice. She attempts to tear out her eyes and eat them. Douglas experienced such survivalist aspects of hunger as tied to the memory of and loss of his mother. Mother hunger informed his relationship with white male authority figures and heads of state. In the context of this hunger, white men took on maternal significances and roles in Douglas's life. This deep yearning for the feminine, in some instance, brought the same out of Douglass, who depicted himself and the heroic male figure as giving birth to the values and central tenets of the Republic. Operating out of an essentially female praxis of survival, Douglass turns to potentially devouring legacy of slavery, an emotional state of loss, and longing into a self that is gender ambiguous and imbued with a regenerative capacity. So mother love, the survivalist aspects, that the aspect that's invoked is based in mother, which is why Drew Ali told us red flag, green star, which is Venus, which is mother. And once you have that connection to the ancient foremothers and forefathers, now you can get some things done. Otherwise, perpetual mental servitude. Perpetual mental servitude. So you can play Negro, black, colored all you want. But know that the boat has left the dock. And all this voting up and down and thinking these people care about you and you're going to complain to them that they're going to give you something that's going to get you out of what you're in. That's all the sinning stuff that Drew Ali's talking about. That great God of the universe is not pleased with. The great God of the universe is not pleased by the works being performed in North America by his people. Not pleased. Still BS going on? Yep, still not pleased. Why are you not pleased? It's not honoring your foremothers and forefathers. You're playing games with universal law. You're playing games with natural law, where you can't win. No winning if you're going against natural law. Right. Think about they get you to the place that you are going to eat your eyeballs. That's not, these people hate somebody. That's a ritual. That's a ritual to show all the other people on this plantation you're not leaving. If you leave, that's what you get. Ritual. Messing with the psyche. Knowing that that's what they're doing too. Because remember, these people aren't some cracker guys. Right? To take a people from a place of grandeur and subject them to the level of a serf in some generations, you're a scientist. You're not some kill black guys. I don't know what kind of science that you're on or whatever, but you're not trailer park boys and all that. You know something. And I don't really like what it is that you know. So let me make sure I honor my foremothers and forefathers. So you have to deal with these people. worried about who's going to be in office. As if any of them care about you. You don't see a guy in the open, the guy who you voted for in the open touches children. Like literally. Literally, everybody's there watching and he's fondling children. Clearly, you're not worried about your children if you're voting for that guy. That's why, something we just pop out the veil and then go back in the veil because these people lost their mind. It's zombie land right now. Don't get bitten. Order of the day is nationality if you want to save yourself. And nationality is some mind stuff. So don't tell me about you paid $5,000 for some papers to get your nationality. Because you should have used your common sense. If you have any questions, put it in the chat. If not, you already know. We're out of here. If they think that Negro is delectable, that should be a problem. Because Negro is black. And black is African. So, you're playing around any of those, they're about human consumption of you. And homoeroticism with you. Because you're part of the slave culture. You're part of it. You make it run. By you saying, I'm black, then there's going to be racism. And you can't do anything about it because you're invoking it. You say, I'm black. Oh, it's going to be police brutality. And nothing you could do about it because you're invoking it. The ritual is on you, classifying yourself as the delectable Negro when you're Moors. Your ancient foremothers and forefathers founded civilizations, but you want to be a delectable Negro. That's not good. Let's see what the solution is. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way, and without understanding they have fallen from the true light into utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that would recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they themselves try to force upon a civilized world. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. You know who he's blaming for slavery, right? Let's read that again. They will not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds, our people's deeds, have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm to human beings on earth. The messed up stuff that we're doing as the founders of civilization is causing problems for everybody on earth. That's how important we are to this. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. And I have traveled in the South and have examined the conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And they fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. And I've traveled in the South, and I've examined the conditions there, and it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to a nation that lives the life. And I am hereby calling on true American citizens for moral support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into the marvelous light. Why wouldn't you want to be down with this? Oh yeah, because of people like Arushius or whatever. You see them be Moors, and then you're detaching yourself from being Moors because you think those guys and people like them are the example to follow for being a Moor. When the only example you should be following is Noble Drew Ali. There ain't nobody else that told you that you're Moors. You ain't listen to some guy. When Drew Ali brought everything it takes to save a nation. And he said, take it and save ourselves. So if he told us he brought everything to save a nation, take it and save ourselves, that would mean that we are a nation. So if we are a nation, why would you ask the question, are we building a nation? And am I by myself? As if you haven't watched our class and heard the prayer with people saying the prayer. It ain't just me in there. When you go in the chat right now, you scroll through here, there's people on here. What do you mean, are we building a nation? What do you mean building a nation? I know people on here that know that they're part of the Moorish nation. And what do you mean building a nation? And what do you mean by ourselves when we've been out here with Moors? You know, they by their self. How are we a nation, but we're by ourselves? I'm a Moor, but I'm by myself. I don't have anybody here. I'm by myself. No, you're not. You're part of a nation. How are you by yourself? So people like that is probably why you might not want to be lining up with Moors. Right? Taj, RV Bay Publications, all of them are part of the Moorish nation. So what do you mean building a nation? Canaanland is part of Morocco. Canaanland is the northern portion of North America that they call Canada. We know that's not Canada. That's Canaanland. The Moorish scientists who were in servitude in America knew to follow the North Star. That's Moorish science. They knew up here was Canaanland. That's Moorish science. You think that there's some slaves and all that stuff, when Kunta Kinte is talking about Assalamu Alaikum and all that. What do you mean Christian? What are you talking about? It was Moors from here that they made slaves. Speaking Arabic, had Qurans and all that. Go watch all the slave movies. Guarantee all those slaves are doing some type of Islamic stuff. And again, if they knew to follow the North Star, that's more science. Right? What tribe? Tribe of what? Why would we be a tribe if we're a nation? If I'm a nation and I have a nationality, why would tribe be relevant? Why is tribe relevant? We're a nation. Maybe the tribe of Chinese people. What tribe? A Chinese guy. What tribe are you from? Huh? What do you mean tribe? I'm Chinese. Oh, okay. Hey, Hindustani. What tribe are you from? Tribe. Hey, Persian guy. What tribe are you from? Oh, nationality, huh? Egyptian guy? You from a tribe? Oh, nationality? Oh, okay. All right. All right, then. Right. If we're a nation, tribes are irrelevant. And anybody who's talking tribe is playing some Indian games. And once they start playing their little Indian games, you know that they're working on the other side. Because they should be saying that they're Moors, even if they're a tribe. Because Noble Drew Ali was Cherokee. And if Noble Drew Ali's Cherokee, which is a tribe, and Noble Drew Ali told these Moors in all the literature that we're Moors, all Moors, faithful Moors, these Moors, Mohammedans, never ever once mentioned no Indian tribe of anything. Why am I going to be a tribe? Why should people say that they're a tribe? And again, if they're saying that they're a tribe, that means that they are on the other side. It's that simple. Because, well, nationality being the order of the day. Right? Anybody talking about they're building a nation, but they're a Moor? Oh yeah, we're Moors, but we're building a nation. They're about to rob you. So you can't build what you are. Why are you building a nation when we have a national flag? The key is to stick to what Noble Drew Ali brought. Don't listen to anybody out here talking crazy, because they don't know more than the Prophet. And the Prophet brought you everything it takes to save a nation. And I never heard any of the Negro, black, colored, African, indigenous, Indian, whatever leaders tell you they brought you everything to save a nation. Take it and save yourself. They're trying to get you to join some club and then stay in a dead status. You're on IG Live, you know, Bay and L and whatever. The highwayman comes, John Jeffries. John Jeffries, I got their license. I got their license right here, Massa. Nationality was brought to you by the Prophet. No one else. No one else told you what your nationality was. Everyone else played fiction games with you. And they're still playing games with you today. Which is why our people don't know about Noble Drew Ali and what he taught. But they know about everybody else except him. They know about the most obscure teachings from some tablet that nobody ever had before, and only they have a copy, but they don't know about what Noble Drew Ali brought. I can tell you, Drew Ali's the man. We could play games all they want to, but we already know that he was sent from Allah. So we're not playing games, because we know the backlash when you go against the Prophet. We've seen it happen to people playing games. And again, just check the track record. Still here, 08. How many temples came up and fell and they're not here anymore and all that? How many Moorish groups or whatever that were around from 08 that aren't around right now? And then we're still here. Why are we still here? Because Allah guides this. It's not some Kudro thing, or some grand whoever thing, or some Canaanland Moors thing. No, it's not. This is Moorish nation. This is Moorish nationality and birthrights. We're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian, or African, or none of that. We're Moors. We honor our Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and we give supreme honors to Mother. And that's that. If you can't get down with that, then you might as well take off your turban and fez, go back to the state where the Prophet found you. Or keep your fez on and go with those dirty people over there selling packages and selling processes and selling consultations and selling everything else that they could get you to buy. And not doing anything to try to save the nation. So honors to all the Moors who know that we are a nation. Honors to all the Moors who know their Prophet and who give him supreme honors for bringing him their salvation. Give honors to all the master teachers who came before us that paved the way for us to be here right now, knowing about our nationality and birthrights, regardless of what anybody says, whether they got a fez on, whether they got a yarmulke on, doesn't matter. We're Moors. And honors to Mother. If it was our Mother, we wouldn't be here. So honors to Mother on all levels. Today's reference points: Moorish literature, Noble Drew Ali. You can get that there. And The Delectable Negro. Intense read, not for the faint of heart and the soft stomach people. People eating people's eyeballs and stuff like that. It's crazy. It goes a whole different place from the slavery stuff that they've been telling people slavery is. It gets real nasty. It gets nasty. It gets unfair. You might not even want to read it. But when you really check it, they're letting you know everything that's going on right now today. Islam to all the Moors, there's the countdown. And don't forget, Arushas, we have the same master teacher. Stop playing games.